So the whole thing in my life is like, I don't have resources, but I'm going to be resourceful. So why do you want to make the million if you can't even like set some time apart for you to do what you want to do? You really can change someone's life with the right word.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Furlough TV. And today we got a very special guest, a good friend of mine. And in Miami, it's filled with a lot of entrepreneurs, but this man is quite the opposite. Giancarlo Aguilar. I call him GC. What's up, GC? How we living, man?
What's up, Joe? A long time, man.
It has been.
We always connect, but it's we have our periods that we don't talk for a little bit.
And this time, I was purposely like, who do I want to catch up with? But I don't want to talk to until I get this camera on it and rolling, because I know the conversation's going to be great.
Absolutely, man. Everything's good here on my end, man. I'm so happy to be here. I love the setup. I love everything. I think this is going to be great. I'm super pumped, man. Let's
Absolutely.
chat.
Yeah, man, because there's very few people that I, being born and raised in Miami, that I look out and I'm like, okay, this person's moving. And you are kind of relate to, in the sense that you have a lot of things going on. And with me, at least with Furlough, I believe that everything kind of fills under this umbrella, but you have kind of jumped across so many different industries. So if you can just kind of give a little light touch description of all the projects that you're involved in, I'd love, to give some context to the viewers.
Sure, man. Sure. Yeah. So, and again, thank you again, man. Like, trust me, I admire your like project, the way you've built that Furlough brand. I think to me is very beautiful, the way you've done it. A lot of people don't realize that it takes a lot to give value in a consistent basis. And I know that's something that you've always been big on. You give a ton of value and you don't ask for anything in return. And it's a huge, huge thing that a lot of people in this world are lacking. So shout out to you. But yeah, man. So me, a little background. So I'm a serial entrepreneur, born and raised here in Miami. I've been involved in many businesses and projects. I've owned from a marketing agency to nightclubs, still have a sports lounge, small restaurants. And then I manufacture vitamins, supplements, and cosmetics. And then I also have a fulfillment center, which is, that's the new thing this year. But yeah, always moving, always growing, investing. I've always had a little bit of a real estate background. But yeah, I mean, ton of stuff. I got business. I like to make it happen.
You got the pump out too.
Oh yeah, I actually got into a new brand that my buddy invented. It's a reusable gas glove. We got into that with him. Wherever I can do just to something I see there's potential in. It's a good culture that I like and I enjoy. I get into it. I'm not really big on, sometimes things are good if they make money. Sometimes it's good because it's a good culture and there's potential to make money. But I'm just very big on like doing what I like to do. I don't do anything I don't like to do, that's for sure. And if I do, I'll slowly get out of it.
Absolutely. How do you kind of manage in the sense of like switching from focus on project that's so diverse? And
yeah, that's funny. A lot of people ask me that question because they see me jump from so many things. I mean, it just depends. When I get into a project, it's just setting the right expectation. What are my roles and responsibilities in that business or that project? So if I'm going to be getting into, let's say I'm investing in a restaurant, at the end of the day, I'm not a food guy. I don't cook. I'm not a big on the ingredients, sourcing of the food and all that. So I partner with someone that does know how to do that. The sense of the back end, like the operations, the marketing, the day-to-day, the strategy, all day. Count on me on that. So I make that clear with my partners. Similarly to my other businesses, like I know what my lane is and I double down on that lane. And if that's not wanted in the partnership, then I just won't do the project.
But what would you, if you had to put yourself in a box, obviously we don't, what is your lane? Is it marketing?
Oh, my lane 100% is just business development strategy. I'm doing a lot of strategic partnerships all the time. Nice. I'm solving problems all the time. There's things that come up in business that they kind of drown in a cup of water. And then I'm just reprogrammed my brain to just always find the solution, and that's it. Right.
Very masculine of you.
Just, so masculine. I'm so resourceful.
Like, I got to solve problems.
Don't worry. We can figure it out, so no, man.
If it's not broken, I'm going to break it so I can fix it.
Yeah. But you know what it is? And it comes from having a scarcity mindset when I was younger, because in the beginning, growing up, we didn't have much. So the whole thing in my life is like, I don't have resources, but I'm going to be resourceful, right? And that's literally been my life, like mantra, be resourceful. So when someone just says, oh, we can't do that because of X, Y, Z, I'm like, okay, what can we invent? How can we do this? What's the different angle? And that's where my mentality kind of kicks in. So that's kind of where I go with that.
Absolutely. And then last time we spoke, it felt like there was a lot of growth that you were experiencing, and how you've kind of, not dissolved or kind of withdrew yourself from certain projects that obviously after a certain amount of time, how much like that fuel kind of goes away and you want to evolve and find the next venture.
Yeah.
What is it that's like pulling you towards it? What's the thing that is exciting you and getting you rolling?
Right. So I think in life we go through a lot of different like seasons, right? So for me, it's one of those things where what fits for me in that season, that particular season, sometimes it's just like, hey, just make money. You're not really going to be doubling on your passion. You're just going to be like, this is an opportunity. You're going to make money with it. So I was doing, many different ventures. I was in a very low frequency, I guess, environment. I guess, I had a nightclub, which great for money making, I guess, but really bad for health, mindset, energy, and kind of building something bigger than yourself. So kind of pushed away from that from the beginning. After 2 years of building it, I felt, okay, good. We established it. I know what it feels like to run it and to build it. From there, I took everything I wanted out of it, and I slowly dissipated and got into things that I'm passionate about, which is now honestly manufacturing vitamins, supplements, and cosmetics. I think to me that's like such an amazing industry because it kind of hits every pocket of what I love, which is like I'm creating something new every single day. I'm seeing like natural, holistic approach to different things. Every day is like a new thing that comes up that we have to figure out, or a new formula, or we're developing a new fragrance, or we're developing a new thing, a new trend. And it just keeps you entertained, right? Like I don't like life being dull. So it's definitely, I think, encompassed a little bit of everything that I enjoy.
Absolutely. Yeah, you gotta stay that fire, that excitement, that
you
passion.
gotta keep the fire running, man. If the fire is gone, then you just honestly you're just become mindless. I feel like you just become like a drone.
Absolutely.
So
yeah. What's the purpose behind it if you're just drifting through life versus really creating your own life?
Yeah.
Right. And so with the business side, do you have an end goal? What's that picture look like? Where do you see yourself moving?
Man, for the business side, I really right now my goal is to develop the cosmetic lab, the manufacturing business, and now the fulfillment center, right? Like I want to have that full like kind of trifecta of, from A to Z. We source, we build, we fulfill. And then eventually maybe sell it, or honestly just keep it. I think honestly it's a business that I could even leave to my kids.
Nice.
Which is something that I really like because it's such a generational kind of business, like where I think the world's going even more towards holistic medicine and holistic health and natural vitamins and supplements. So I feel like a couple years from now, I mean, man, we're probably it's gonna be like a no-brainer,
Yeah, especially if the people you're servicing start growing. It's like your retainers are going to.
And we see it, man. Like I actually just read an article the other day. Pepsi is starting to invest in a lot of like probiotic and prebiotic drinks and sodas and like, things that are made completely natural versus like the traditional like filled with sugar.
Of course. Colgate just bought out, I think, Tom's without non-fluoride.
It's happening, man. It's happening. This is where we're going. So I really, really am excited. So like, I don't see like an end for the business. I see it growing. I think we're definitely like on the rise, which is exciting. And yeah, man, really building the fulfillment center, maybe get bought out by one of the bigger fulfillment companies. But yeah, all the pieces of the puzzle are there. It's literally just watering every single day and seeing where it goes. Obviously, in the process, I build and own a few of my own brands. So that's exciting too, because as much as I love the back end, I know what the front end looks like. And I see a lot of my clients doing very well building. So I'm not kind of like ignorant to that. So I am dabbling into building some of those brands. And then eventually those brands, I want to sell them or keep growing them. That's it.
Yeah, which is pure comedy. Sometimes I see your story and I see you in like this hazmat suit, packing pills, supplements.
Yeah, man. Dude, we've done it all. I mean, dude, if I have to do
from the
it.
club to trapping.
Yeah, so it's funny when when I had the club, it was like I was in like after 2 years of having the club, and then all of a sudden like we ended up buying the manufacturing plant, and then it's like I would leave the club sometimes at 5 a.m, and the next day I'd have to be at the lab, and like, oh my god, dude, and then we're like short staffed or like we're behind, and that's when we were like really figuring it out, dude. I'm suiting up, hairnet on. And I'm just like, oh shit. And like, I gotta just sit there and like, I'm putting these neck bands on bottles because our neck band machine like broke or whatever. Just so many things. But dude, honestly, like it's amazing, you just learn. And like, but people are probably thinking like, oh, this guy's at the club and he's making pills. What is he up to? I'm like, yeah, I'm making vitamin C, bro. It's all good.
You never know in Miami though.
Yeah.
Right?
In Miami, we have a bad rap, but nah, man, keep it 100% clean. Thank God.
Absolutely. So I want to kind of give you the opportunity of kind of deciding and dictating where this conversations go, because some people come on here and they want to talk about business, they want to talk about their story, or they want to talk about a completely topic that's not kind of what we would naturally move towards.
Yeah.
So what is it that is top of mind? What is something that you're kind of discovering or learning or unpacking that is really something that's like pulling you towards it?
Cool, man. Great question. I think that's a great place to go. I mean, for me, man, I'm open to talking about everything.
I
mean, I
put
don't.
it on you. I'm like,
Yeah,
me
so
too, man.
I'm super cool. We could talk about anything, so it doesn't really matter. But at least you can see a little bit about the business side. I mean, man, I'm really big on just personal development, making sure you're fulfilled as a human being. I'm big on that, like making sure you have all your boxes checked. I mean, I've gone through a few different phases of my life where it was all money. Then I've gone through like where it's like all just like super spiritual and hippie, and like I'm walking around barefoot and I have the beard and I'm traveling Southeast Asia, and I've gone through those phases, and like overall you come to a point where, at least where I've kind of summed everything up, where it's like you need a balance of everything, of course, which is always the word, right? But also just like make sure your boxes are checked. Like make sure like you're seeing family as whatever amount of time you need to see your family. I think it's cool. I'm learning this as we go too. Like for me, I like to see my family at least once a week.
Cool.
Easy. Like that's my box. It fulfills me. It makes me feel good. And I'm talking about like, how do I feel? How can I wake up the next day like where all my check boxes are good so that I could be my best self? Fam, once a week, gym every single day, non-negotiable, like get your heart rate up, cardio, whatever. Amazing. Eating good food, which is the one I'm struggling with. Like I'm really getting onto that. I've done all kinds of like different meal plans, but I'm really enjoying now the process of like eating foods that make me feel light, not heavy, which I think is really cool. And just like, that's kind of where I think that's what's helping me now overall in life, man. Just being around the right people, cutting off the bad people, man. Like it's just so crazy. I put up with so many negative people in my life, in business and just like regular, because I feel like I can take it and I can kind of maybe eventually rub off on them. But I was just kind of holding myself back the whole time.
Yep.
So, dude, now imagine when you let that go and you realize, wow, I am actually able to go so much further, so much faster when I have the right circle. It just changes your whole life.
Yeah, it's true. Those energy vampires just
Dude.
sucking the life out of you, and it's funny because I've had a few, and I just let those relationships dissolve.
Yeah,
it's like the crazy part is you genuinely don't need to cut it off.
You don't have to do nothing. You just
it'll resolve itself.
You just kind of let it be, and you just see how it kind of handles itself.
Yeah,
that's one thing, man. 99% of your worries never come true. My mom used to always tell me that growing up, and I'm like, third grade, didn't do my homework. She goes, don't worry, 99% of your problems won't come true. The teacher ends up like, oh, you know what, guys, you have one more day for homework. Like,
and it's fear, false events appearing real.
That's it, man. Life really sometimes really works itself out, man. And keeping that mentality gives you so much more peace in life, right? And I say that for like any entrepreneurs out there and stuff, where it's like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I just lost this client, or I just lost this deal. It's like, calm, peace, chill. Like sometimes you need to let go for more things to come, and life isn't over. It's a marathon, man. Like, how many times I thought my life was gonna be like completely tarnished.
This will end me.
Yeah, this is ending me. I can't do this ever again. And then the next day, oh my God, now I'm double of where I was before.
Yeah.
And that's just something that happens all the time, man.
Hey, you said it was seasons, and like we had a season that we just got out of, which when it rained, it poured. We thought you're rock bottom. The floor collapses below you, and we lost like 70% of our portfolio in one given take, and we bounced back so quick after that, and it was just like, wow, where was all of these and it's the unknown that comes, rewards you, and just what you're seeking is seeking you, and it's just this divine gifts that just drop on your doorstep. And you're like, oh wow, I did not expect this, but I am open to receiving.
Oh, being open to receiving is big. A lot of people, I think there's a law of reciprocity. Yeah. As much as you want to give, you have to be open to receiving, right? Mm-hmm. Like sometimes that's a big problem. We try to I'm just the giver, and then like, yeah, but you have to also not block someone's blessing if they're trying to give you something. So you got to be open to that. I think that's a great point. But man.
I want to comment. That's my favorite thing when I go to buy someone food. They make a big deal, and I'm like, do not deny me the grace of being able to
do that for you.
Do that for you, right?
Yeah.
And to give is to receive. And that's why it's funny, because gratitude truly is a hack, because it's already the state of receivership. In order for you to be gratitude, you had to have received something. So when you pretend to be gracious, you're in that state of I receive. And you know, as the
like
world
that.
around you is a vibrational match for
And
what
that's
you
it.
are.
And then that just continues kind of like attracting what you're supposed to be getting. I think that's big, man. I mean, being in that state of just, it's such a simple thing, right? And it sounds so like people are always looking for like this magic potion, or they're looking for this or that. It's like, no, just
The
get
next
into
tip or hack.
just get in a really good frame of mind and be in a really good position, and like in your soul, and then that's gonna just kind of bring you everything, right? Like life isn't complicated, man. It's just
So
like you
simple.
just really got to do the you got to do the inner work that you don't really want to.
The shadow work.
The shadow work, essentially. Exactly.
Which is, you know, as we were walking over here, we were talking about, I mean, the secret all comes down to just servicing others.
Yeah.
And sometimes that service doesn't need to come with an invoice, which, you know, money is financial compensation for services rendered.
So big.
If you want more money, offer more service. But sometimes you just need to give service. And what you were saying, like, oh, Joe, you built Fruit Low by just giving.
Yes.
And it's it's now in my DNA. It's in who I inherently am. And
To that point, just not to interrupt, it's so funny. I think of you, and all I think about is like, yo, this guy just gives a lot of value to people, right? Like, imagine that's your trademark. Like, you're wearing that, that's your brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's such a great brand to have. Being someone that just gives value to people all the time. Like, you want to be that person, right? You don't want to be that person that's like, oh, that guy's always looking to get something out of me, or that, you know, and you hear that reputation for some people. You want to be the reputation where like that person is just constantly giving me value. Right? And like, if you're in that mindset, just think about how that spreads around the world, and think about how much more opportunity you're gonna get.
It does come back. And, you know, I like to say your brand is what people say when you leave the room.
Yes.
Right.
I love that. Yeah.
What I've found is that by giving, like that person that I gave to, no expectations. I was just telling you the story of this guy that owned a fire range and gave him value. Nothing came from it. I was just like, I'm not going to invoice you. Just take it in house. That's what you do. Not worth the retainer. And then 6 months later, he sends me an email like, oh man, I took your advice. I'd love to invite you out.
Awesome.
And I know that's going to lead to a
all day
relationship. And I'm so curious because synchronicities. I think synchronicities is kind of like what I say, God's way of staying anonymous by rewarding you for these little things and intricacies. What is something that it was so, I wouldn't say impossible, but something that just the stars lined up for you that I maybe let your mind process.
I was like, you said that. I'm just like going through like the files.
Yeah, you're like, ooh, what?
Yeah.
Has there anything like been that's like, what are the odds of this? There has to be a greater force at play that lined the series of events, you know, that put me in this position.
Man, I'll be honest with you. It happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm so blessed for that. And I'm so thankful because I think a lot of the opportunities that I get are synchronicity, and they're God's divine kind of like touch. I do that a lot where I kind of just let go, and I just get in motion with no expectation, right? Like faith without any work is just pointless, right? So it's like I have a lot of faith, but I'm also just putting in the work, and I'm just there like, okay, well then all of a sudden, boom, this happens. Man, I mean, all my opportunities, man, to be honest with you, like my first business ever, right? Like I had a broken netbook, and someone left me a broken netbook. It was like $100 netbook. I don't even know if you know what a netbook is, but it's like a tiny mini laptop when laptops first came out. The screen didn't work. I had to plug in like some old school monster monitor and I plug in a regular old school keyboard and a regular old school mouse. All that stuff. I was just left all those pieces from like somebody, and I'm like, let me just plug this in. Let me try this out. And I'm just like like I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life, and I'm just thinking, okay, let's fucking download this program and like see what this does, and like start looking into like softwares and this and that. And then I'm never going to forget, I got an email from somebody, and it was like, because I was reading forums and like how to growth hack and stuff like that. I got a random ass email of some like software that people were using at the time to build Instagram accounts. And I'm like, man, let me get this account. Let me see what this is doing. And I'm just dabbling into it. I couldn't even download the software because the netbook had no memory, right? So I'm like, oh my God. So I think I asked my friend to like help me build the RAM or something like that. Like everything was just lining up. I'm like, okay. So it was getting to the point where it came so easily. And then that for me kind of like ended up becoming a bit my first like real business on my own, where I started building people's Instagram accounts through this software. And I was building accounts to like 100,000, 200,000 followers, 1 million followers.
Instagress by any chance?
Instagress came after.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So this is before Instagress. This was like,
my life,
dude,
Instagress.
This is way before Instagress though. Then it was like another software called Follow Liker, and then after that there's something else. But I had just learned about outsourcing. I had learned about all this stuff from my first like mentor. And bro, point is, I got that email. I downloaded the software. It was like one of the beta versions of it. Dude, I started offering the services to companies like, hey, don't pass out flyers. I can like people's photos in your area from your Instagram. Done.
Yep.
You know, like just these kind of things have happened constantly because I feel like things line up. But if I didn't decide to like download the program, do the tutorial, figure out what's going on, you know, and I wouldn't be where I'm at, you know. And I ended up growing into a company, which ended up becoming an agency, which ended up becoming like I had interns, that I had the whole thing.
That's how we met.
Which is how we met.
I got connected to your agency.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
You said this comment where it was like, things come so easily. And I genuinely, I have this wholehearted belief that I don't make decisions in my life just simply unravels before me. And things shouldn't be difficult. They should be frictionless. And it should just be, and there's this level of grace that when you reach a certain level, that's why I hate the word grinding. Because it implies that you just have to like grind it and sheer will it to existence. And how do you feel in the sense of your accomplishments? Like, I understand there was a level of grind, but where you're at now is what's the balance between grind and grace, and how things come into fruition and how you create?
That's an amazing question. Yeah, I was the grinder for a long time, to the point where I actually got like Bell's palsy. My face got stuck from life was, I don't need any sleep, drinking black coffee every day, because I guess I read that somewhere. I don't know what fucking idiot told me to not sleep and drink black coffee and go run 3 miles a day, right? Like, I took it so literal, right? And I get what they were trying to push, but I took it literal because I was just like, I had no coach. I'm like, oh, that's what it says to do? Let's go do it. And I got to the point where I got Bell's palsy. I was in a really bad like health shape. I thought I was so productive. Actually, it's when, remember the obstacle course mud run race or whatever? I was actually building that. I was so passionate about that idea that I wouldn't sleep. I loved it so much that, dude, to me, it's like I was operating at a different frequency because I was building something that I thought was bigger than myself, right? And then, but I took it to another level, to another extreme. And it was just grinding, right? And in the back of my mind, every single day I was doing that. I'm waking up at 5. I'm just like, I'm walking around. I sent 1,000 emails trying to get sponsorships. I'm walking into stores and businesses, asking them to sponsor me money so I can buy some lumber so then I can go build these obstacles. It was just crazy. And the back of my mind was telling me, like, just let go. Like, it's going to come together. And then in between that grind, I would stop for like 3 days. And everything just started lining up. I get an email from the White House. I get an email from like the mayor. Then they end up connecting me with the director of Parks and Recreation, telling me that they sponsored the park for like 15 grand. Like, and I was like, fuck. But I'm like, they're constantly just trying to like, you know, push. But when I let go, things lined up. It was just the weirdest thing. So it always kind of like bothered me. And to answer your question, like, from going from one extreme of just constantly just like grinding, right, to then going to like full hippie because I got so stressed out that the Bell's palsy made me become really relaxed. And I'm like, oh, I gotta just like chill. I can't do nothing. Then I lost purpose because then I'm just like flowing. I'm like, you know, what point is living if there's not even a little bit of stress? So fast forward to now, where it's with all the different ventures and businesses I've had, dude, I don't give up my day-to-day routine for nobody. Like I'm going to the gym every single day before I start my day. I don't care if the world is burning down. Like, I'm going to eat, you know, I'm going to eat food. I'm not going to skip breakfast. And I eat breakfast later on because I'm fasting. But like, I make sure I eat my meals. I make sure I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and I make sure I go to the gym every single day. That's a non-negotiable. Before, I'm waking up stressed out, emails I'm answering, I'm going crazy. I'm like a sporadic mess, and it was just for nothing because if it's not meant to happen, it's not going to happen. Bottom line, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at now. Now it's like a non-negotiable. I don't care if there's $1 million on the line the next day. Like, let me hit the gym first. Like, I don't care because it just makes sense. Why do you want to make the million if you can't even like set some time apart for you to do what you want to do? You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And the gym isn't a grind, it seems.
Right.
Yeah, no,
it's a therapeutic thing.
Yeah, okay.
I love the gym. I just go to the gym. To me, it's an amazing thing. You're moving your body. You're lifting weights. You feel good. Yeah.
Everyone else is experiencing
Everyone's there.
growth
It's a good environment. You know what I mean?
The more you go, I mean, especially with guys, like, it takes 5 times seeing one person at the gym to become friends.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude,
Starts with a head nod, then a fist bump.
right, it's so funny. Yeah,
By the
the
end of
gym
the
gym
video,
culture is so funny. It's like you go there so much, and it's like, okay, let me do the what's up, man. Yeah, and then it's like you don't say nothing to each other. You're just there every day, but then it's like, okay, the fist bump.
That's my boy.
Yeah, it's like, no, I see this guy all the time. And if you see him out, it's like,
Oh, it's a wrap.
respect,
That's
respect.
it. No,
This
no,
guy goes to my gym.
Dude, how's it going? Yeah, you're looking big.
Yeah. So
You're so
yeah.
simple, huh?
So simple. It's so easy. Like, it's just those are the things that matter the most, man. And like you think
Well,
about,
people.
people is what matters. Like,
Absolutely. And
relationships.
I'm curious, because we touched into the masculine side of things, and where do you see femininity coming into the world of business, and especially the dynamics of this, which is, it's very interesting, 2 men having that conversation.
Right. In the sense of femininity, like as far as like how that affects business or how.
Well, I mean, as somebody that's had so many businesses, and personally, I have a female partner, founder in my company that if she quit, I would close down shop.
So I'll tell you a couple examples. So we have, I think in our manufacturing plant, we have at least 4 or 5 women that are working there for us, and like one of them, I don't know what we would do without. She is amazing. Like this lady is like, first of all, she has a heart of gold. She's like the nicest, purest lady in the world. But aside from that, like the way she approaches things and the way she can solve things for us is different than if it was just a bunch of us guys just going in there. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's a necessary balance sometimes because you need a women's perspective in things, man. You have to have it. Like, it'd be ignorant to not think so. And because again, right, we can go into our mentality, which is at least for me, right, in like a business development side, it's offense, problem solve. And then they may see something like, hey, you know what? That person, I think, responds better like that. You should do this instead. And you're like,
more EQ.
More EQ, definitely, and more compassion.
For sure.
Right? And I think, for the most part, I try to have a balance of that as well. I try to like understand people and like, what they prefer as far as communication, and then you adjust to that so they can hear what you're actually saying. But like sometimes you just need another approach, kind of telling you like, hey, I'll talk to them. And it just comes in a little bit better, a little sweeter,
Softer
a little
touch.
nice, a little softer touch,
Yeah.
It's good.
It was this very interesting perspective of how, such a simple, example where men, they have a list of groceries and they go into a grocery store, they're beelining it straight to every aisle to actually get the items they want to get. Versus women, they'll go and walk the track. And they know I don't need to get anything in this aisle, but I'm walking down this aisle.
You just never know.
Yeah, and men are very linear in their approach of problem solving, while women take a more holistic view of the entire picture in the painting.
Wow, I like that.
Which is, when that came to my awareness, I was like, oh my God, that is actually spot on.
I'd be beelining because I'm trying to get out of there quick, man. I'm just like, all right, what
West
do I got to
Coast
do?
burger,
Let's get it
get me
done.
out of
Boom.
there.
And then it's funny. That's a big thing because I have experienced that where it's like, you know what? Let's go here. Let's see what else are we thinking we're missing and stuff like that. And like that's what that gets definitely fills in a lot of the gaps that we think we wouldn't need in the first place. And sometimes I don't even want to spend the extra time doing it. But then it's like, and I know if I would spend the extra time, maybe walking that aisle for this example, I'd find something that would make my life easier the next 3 days. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? I feel like, but just because of the way I guess I'm wired, I'm just like, no, let's just go.
Absolutely.
So that's definitely. I think they're a great asset to business for sure. All for it.
Where do you see? Obviously with all your experience and everything, that's so many different industries, and where do you see? I guess any trends that you're keeping an eye out on or you're spotting, whether it's on the commerce space and the personal development, a society, organizations. Anything that stands out. Yeah.
I'm tapped in to a lot of like the e-com trends right now. A lot of the supplements and vitamins, cosmetic trends right now. Like I kind of see it ahead of a lot of people, which I forget to realize because I start getting requests for the same product by 10 different companies, and I'm like, oh shit, that's gonna be the next whatever, Ashwagandha. That's gonna be the next CMOS. That's gonna be the next, creatine. Whatever it may be. Like creatine gummies started popping off. Like I knew about it like 3-4 years ago because I'm like, I started getting requests for it. And then all of a sudden, like, you know, people just started requesting it like crazy. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I feel like nootropics. I don't know.
Nootropics were big back then too, like the mushroom stuff, the mushroom coffees and stuff like
I'm seeing
that.
ayahuasca gummies on my feed now. I'm like, please do not take ayahuasca.
I don't know, but I hope it's not
Unless
the
you
real
have a
stuff.
shaman and your
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
manufacturer just blessing everything.
That'd be funny. You know, you could actually get a rabbi to bless like the manufacturing to make the products kosher.
No kidding.
It's like a whole thing. Like there's a kosher, there's a kosher like icon that you can put on your products. But like I think that a rabbi does have to come
Well,
and
I
do
mean,
it.
it's all energy. And
Yeah, yeah.
What Nikola Tesla said, if you wanted to understand the laws, secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy and frequency. And,
Right.
And I'm a big believer of blessing and praying, and then you have companies like Liquid Death who are actually cursing their products, which is obviously it's energy.
That's definitely weird, man. Yeah, that one is it's you know, it's funny, man. Ever since I saw that, and I guess I'm a very big person on energy and stuff like that, I wouldn't want to drink it. I would just feel like, oh, it's like such a weird, like, oh, like I felt I had a negative connotation to it. Like water's supposed to be life, and I get what they did. It's a good marketing game, you know. I get it, but I don't know. I just felt like it kind of like it just didn't sit well with me, and I feel like people don't care, but
They
at least
don't,
someone
but
like
they
me that I'm
should.
very big on like
What you put in your body.
just like even what I watch, dude, what I watch movies, what I'm listening to. Sometimes I catch myself just listening to some like super like gangster rap, and I'm just like hearing the lyrics. I'm like, damn, bro, this is not wiring me pretty good right now.
But it be bumping.
But it'd be bumping for the, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's like, damn, shit's fire. But I'm just like, damn, the lyrics. And I'm even like letting that
just
deposit in
yourself,
my brain, right? Same thing when you're hanging around people that are negative. If they're complaining for everything, or if they're just like, you know, you know, I'm so negative. Life is hard, blah, 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 versus someone that's popped and there's always moving and they're so excited and they're like, hey, don't worry, we're going to figure it out. Like, what do you think? What do you want? What's going to give you a better result? Like, come on.
No, you have, you know, the law of attraction, which was probably a lot of people's first touch point into personal development.
Mm-hmm.
There's 11 other laws. And one
Right.
of my favorite laws is the laws of perpetual transmutation of energy, which states that energy can be transmuted. So if there's someone who's low vibration complaining and talking, and then someone comes in with extremely high vibration, they could actually kind of cancel out their energy and raise the energy of the room.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you've seen these energy vampires come into a party and it's just like kind of drains.
Oh, man.
Right. And it's, you know, I as someone who's also very energetically aware, I'm sure you can sense it, especially in Miami, where it's
Sense it a lot,
it's
man.
a lot of dark energy here.
Dude, and sometimes I gotta be careful because I just be tapping in. I really be feeling what people are feeling at the moment. If I'm on a treadmill and I hear a lady just complaining, I just feel her tight, like heavy, just like, and I just like, obviously I'm just right next to her. I'm hearing this. I'm like, I start feeling her. I start feeling like, oh my God, this person is fucking going through it. And I get all stressed out and I'm like, yo, let me plug up my headphones. Let me like change this vibe a little bit because it really does affect. Imagine I hear that. I take it in. I start getting in a bad mood. Now I'm going to go and repeat that. Like, let's say I get a call right on the same spot. Instead of me answering the phone like, hey, what's up? How are you? I'm just like, yo,
Hey,
what's going on?
what's up?
Or like quick, sharp, like just transactional. Dude, you just kind of just created a horrible ripple effect.
Realize that it's happening.
You don't even realize it.
Yeah. Which is it's crazy because you made me think of something that happened to me last weekend. I'm at this birthday dinner at a big restaurant, and we have the table in the corner, so a big group. And this girl's sitting at the bar. This girl falls.
Oh, shit.
She falls, and I couldn't see because there's like a thing that blocks it. But the whole restaurant swarmed to her. And I was about to get up. I'm like, what's the point of one extra person? So I'm there, you know, good intentions. And nobody in my group noticed because they're all backs are looking at me. And I'm just watching this. And finally, like 5 minutes go by, and people kept getting up. Her feet get up, and I'm like, okay, she's fine. She goes and she sits back on the bar.
Okay.
And I'm looking at her, and I am like completely meditated.
That's it. You're just like focused on this.
Just focus, and I feel for her because I'm like, man, you were just hanging out, probably having a great time because the restaurant's great.
Yeah.
And you fall, and it's like, it's embarrassed. You're embarrassed, you know this, and like out of nowhere, this thought came into my head, which was crazy because I was riding on her frequency because I felt bad. I was like, very empathic.
You're
to
there,
her.
yeah.
And this thought came in, and I was like, oh man, now we have to leave the restaurant because it's so embarrassing. And I paused and I looked and I'm like, did I just read her mind?
Oh, right.
And instantly, when I thought that to just got up, walked out the restaurant.
And so you felt that, like, you know, that you could read the fact that she was really hurting probably from that situation. Like maybe she was so conscious of it. That's big, man. I agree. I get it. I do that sometimes. I get into like that position of that person, like, and you feel what they're feeling, and that sucks. Imagine if she would have flipped it though, right? Imagine if she would have fell. And I love seeing people do this.
Own it.
Dude, they fully on it. They start freaking
Transmute
laughing.
their
They're
own
like,
energy.
yo, yeah, I fell, whatever, you know? And like, those are those little trigger points that if you can catch yourself when you go through something like that, dude, life is fun.
Absolutely, yeah. It's one of my guides, I guess. He was telling me, he's like, you've been in a relationship, you've probably been in love before, and when you've been in love, you've read that person's mind. And the reason why you're able to read each other's mind is because you're in love with each other, so you're in each other's frequency. And that, when that whole experience happened, I was like, oh my God, I was in their frequency, and that kind of fed to me. And I'm, recently, I've been getting these weird experiences that kind of are just like reminders of, okay, whatever you've been told you are, you're much greater. I'm curious if you've had any mystical, transcendental experiences through your journey that has put you down a certain path.
Wow.
Oh, we're going deep.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Going deep. Man, I mean, look, I'm always been seeking, right? I'm always seeking the next level. I always pray that, I'm like a vessel for whatever my purpose is, right? And like, I want God to kind of like direct my footsteps, my words, my thoughts, my actions. I want it to be guided from, the greatest power source there is, right? So for me, I feel like I'm just always in these funny situations. Like, dude, I mean, I'm just like this, man. Like, I don't think about it. I'm just like, there's times where I was, I was running this healthy meal delivery company when they first started, and we're like, we had so much extra food, and then we're like, oh, like, it's gonna spoil. So I'm like, dude, throw it in my trunk. I'm gonna just drive around downtown and start giving food away, right? Like, whatever, like I would do it like because I wouldn't think about it. I'm like, okay, this is obviously it's food, and like give it to homeless people, it's fine. And then I'm never gonna forget. I'm just driving around chilling. I'm still kind of semi lost. I'm not really locked in my purpose, but I'm very, very in tune. Like, I'm very spiritual at this point. Like, I'm really finding, like what I believe in and all that stuff. So, dude, I give food to some guys. I kid you not. Like, this is like random stories that happens to me all the time. The guy comes up to my window. This guy has like long hair, kind of looks like Jesus, right? Like, and I go, hey man, you hungry? And he looks at me. He goes like, I don't want your food, but because you offered me food and like I see your heart, I'm just letting you know that I'm blessing you 2-3 times and like whatever. And like, it's just like, and like this and that. And he said a bunch of stuff to me. I was like, what the heck? How does he even know that? And I'm just like in shock. I'm like, okay, man, thank you so much. Like, whatever. He just walks away, and then the guy just like disappears, and I'm just like,
Into the night.
Like, he literally just goes back. He was sitting like on a little stool and just disappears. Like, okay, right, whatever. But my whole thing is like those little like moments, right? That stuck with me to this day. What, I'm 33 now. That happened when I was like maybe 21, 22. Like, I still remember that, right? And like, it's just like, damn, little reminder, just keep going. There's something bigger. There's a bigger purpose. Like, I've always been like that, man. Like, even when I was a kid, I didn't understand why I was thinking things that people weren't thinking. Like, when I was a kid, I was like, kids would be laughing at things like in middle school, and I'm just like, bro, that's not funny. And I didn't know if it was like, maybe I was like, damn, am I damaged? Like, yo, how come I'm not laughing what they're laughing? They're laughing like stupidities, but we're kids. So I'm like, well, we're kids. We should be laughing at that. I'm having this whole conversation in my head. Well, I'm a kid. I should be laughing at that. How come I'm not laughing at that? Am I different from these kids? I mean, like, whatever. And I'm just like, what's wrong with me, right? And then I would grow up later on in life, and I just realized, like, I'm just like, I don't know. I've always had this little feeling inside where I have to do something else. Like I'm thinking of things differently, and that's just been my trajectory forever. And I've had a lot of reconfirmation of that throughout life, right? Through little nuances like this, like having some random like homeless guy tell me that, or just really cool experiences, man. Like it's just kind of reconfirmed that I'm on the right path, and there's like a divine intervention there. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like the other day somebody told me, he's like, yeah, I was a nerd in high school. You always sat with the cool kids. And I'm like, I used to sneak away from the cool kids to hang out and with the nerds, because the nerds table was always way cooler because, man, I'm hanging out with the cool kids. And I'm just like, this is not it. It's not it.
Dude, I hated the cool kid table. It was so stupid.
It's not like
I just couldn't even fake it. I'm just like, yo, no one's talking. Everyone's talking about some superficial shit. I'm just here like.
The hub.
Like,
they would always talk about the front page of the hub. I'm like, how do you guys watch this much? Kids would be kids, but God bless.
Yeah.
Man, but you said the word purpose a lot. And this is definitely a hard question to answer, but I feel like it's a good question to answer.
Okay.
And could you articulate your purpose in this world?
Well, again, my purpose for me is definitely I want to create something that's going to impact millions of lives, and it's going to stay here, right? Like I think I have it even on my Instagram. Like the goal is not to live forever; it's to create something that will. And my goal is just to create, even if it's an idea, a thought, a ripple effect of just good feeling, good emotion, and then leaving that in the world. Because I can't take anything with me, right? So at the end of the day, like I live my purpose every single day, to be honest with you. If I meet and I run into somebody, I'm automatically thinking like, how can I make this person's life better? And I don't do it in a way where I'm expecting something in return. I'm just like, dude, a smile, a door open, helping somebody like carry something in. Like, you don't understand how far those things go and how much we are all connected. And I feel like when people realize that we're all connected and we weren't all born in an individual island, you realize how important it is to treat each other so good. And I think for me, I'm just constantly trying to treat people good and approach life in a good way so that people remember that, and then they go and do it themselves. Because life gets really nice and fun when you're just constantly in a good flow of good things, good people, good action, good deeds. You have that constantly happening, I highly doubt you're going to be depressed. So if life can just kind of translate like that, then I think we're good. So that's kind of my thing.
No, I think it's great. It's just the oneness of everyone's actually that's my whole MO.
Yeah, man. We're so connected. People don't get it, man. It's so funny.
It's just this world's so easy to see separation because you're separate from me. I'm separate from my dreams, and everything's just, this is the world of separation. But there is this intrinsic oneness of, we're all one. We're all connected. And
everything you do affects me. Everything I do affects you. And I'm not saying it in some crazy like, oh my God, like, you should recycle. I'm not. And I think, yes, there's valid answers for that stuff. But what I'm saying is more of like how you treat, how you speak, how you act, how you do onto someone, and then how you want to be done to you. Like all those little micro actions really matter, but we're kind of programmed to not think it matters. Like
nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Yeah. That doesn't matter. Don't worry. That person doesn't feel anything. And then it's like, dude, people are they're just sheltered and they're in boxes. Like, you really can change someone's life with the right word. Mm-hmm. Like if I tell you something
at the right word at the right time,
right word, and I say it to you and it just hits you, dude, like
change the whole trajectory.
Look, perfect. This is like happened to me like 2 weeks ago. Like this is the kind of stuff where I just like, again, reconfirmation. I'm in the Uber, I'm chilling, I'm going somewhere, I don't know, I'm busy, whatever. And the Uber driver just like, I just feel heavy energy. I'm just like, oh man, I gotta talk to this guy. And I'm like, okay, what's up?
Cut it with a knife when you walk in that Uber, you feel it.
Yeah, I just felt heaviness. I'm like, hey man, how are you? Whatever, boom. Sometimes I forget, but most of the time, hey, how are you? At the bare minimum. Sometimes, the Ubers are little chatterboxes. Sometimes, but whatever. I still take it. I take it, bro. I take it.
It's not about me.
Yeah, it's not. So I go, boom. He starts talking to me. Find out, fast forward, this guy just like, he had like an Uber XL. He got in an accident. And now he's like using his buddy's car, but it's a sedan. So he makes half of the money he was making in the Uber XL, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm talking to him and I'm like, okay, like, yeah, man, like, damn, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, what's the game plan? Like I started asking him, these questions, and he's like, man, I'll be honest with you, I'm just he sounded
defeated.
Like, and I could tell when someone's at like, I'm just in a bad spot, or like you're in a really bad place mentally, and like you're on that next level of like negativity. So I was like, oh shit. So I'm like, I kind of just told him like my thing. I'm like, dude, I've lost it and I've gotten it back and I've lost it and I've been in places where like, and that I think there's no way, but I just told him like, bro, you got to just stay in action. You just got to keep being in motion. You got to keep working. Like, prove to God that you believe that he's going to do something for you. Yeah. Like, just keep going, right? But don't give up. Like, dude, if you don't have any rides, go to the gym. You don't have a gym, go read something. Just keep depositing goodness into what makes you better as a person, and life is going to come out on top. And you're not only going to get where you were, you're going to go 10 times further. Mm-hmm. And, bro, the guy just starts, crying, and it's like, and I'm like, whatever. I don't say that because I'm like, oh my God, I think I changed his life. No, I'm just saying that like, dude, you can really just share your story with somebody and talk to them and really change their entire life. And these are like the things that people don't realize. Everyone's out there just on their own thinking that no one's going to help them. Like, dude, if you just tell someone you care and you can share a little bit, sharing's everything. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, and you have to understand the karma is built up from tons of lifetimes. Yeah. Like, maybe you're stacking a lot of bad karma. Just keep building and working towards that good karma. And anytime something bad happens, just remember, okay, cool. At least I got rid of some bad karma. It's happening, and it's crazy
That's
actually.
good. Yeah.
Recently, I had a big lesson on forgiveness, and I had this moment where I forgave my quote unquote enemies, and I reached out to them, and some of them ignored, one responded, and it was crazy because my reaching out to them wasn't to let them know that I forgave them. It was actually to let them know that I wanted to apologize for my part in it, and I'm grateful for what they did because it led me through a certain path. And recently I heard a story that one of them, something terrible happened to them, where they lost, they were scammed, some bad whatever happened, and like my thought was like, man, I wish you told me a year ago because it would have made me happy. But now I'm just like, oh, I feel so bad. But then another part of me was like, relativity, right? Whether it's good, it's all perspective. And I'm like, oh, I feel so bad. But then I was like, kind of feel good that happened because what is your cross in the sense that the worst thing that could have happened to you, how much it will impact everyone around you and those positively, right? And what you see now, when it's funny because even the past, it's never fully written because we're currently rewriting the past. Because if we change our perspective of what happened in the past, then the past itself actually changes. And with you, what is something that I don't want to go too deep unless you want to share some traumas. Yeah,
I don't care.
Hopefully, I think it's a perspective that some of the viewers will actually enjoy. What is something that was so bad that happened to you that at the time you're just like, I'm defeated, I'm destroyed, I can't get out of this, but then it turned out that was a blessing in your career and your personal growth?
Oh man. I mean, it's been a couple of those, but let's see. The best one I could tell you is
maybe pandemic. Did that positive? Was that net positive or net negative?
Pandemic. Interesting. So for me, let's say not pandemic. I don't think pandemic. Everyone uses pandemic, right? Like it's like
that was a big catalyst.
It's a big catalyst for a lot of people. I mean, for me too. I definitely grew and I kind of got into some other stuff, but man, it's tough. I'm just trying to think of the perfect example.
Take your time. We'll just cut out the waiting part.
Yeah. That's true.
Let it.
I mean, I'm just let it hit.
Roll it.
I'm trying to see, bro. Catalyst that kind of helped me. Let's see. I think, look, I mean, I've been in a lot of spots like that, man. So, like, I've been in a position where, like, for example, I gave up a lot of money for, like, peace, I guess you can say, right? And I was like, and I was having such a hard time giving that up. It was like, I had, like, a business, and, like, it didn't really make sense for me to, like, I just didn't like the way things were going, and I just felt like, dude, I don't care about the money. I'd rather be happy, right? And I gave it up. And by doing that, I was able to open up, like, a lot more opportunity. So, like, I mean, not to, like, be so general about it, but, like, just in the moment, I was so frustrated. I was combating, like, a business partner because I was like, I wanted things to be a certain way. And they were just kind of, like, manipulating the whole situation for their benefit, and I kind of knew. And instead of fighting with them for so long, I kind of just was like, cool, take it the way you want to take it, do that. I'm going to step back. I'm going to keep my energy. I'm going to stay good. Ended up getting what I wanted anyways without having to fight for it. And then because of that, I had more, because basically what I did was I sold some of my equity, and then I kind of stepped back, right? And now I had free time. Still made some money, but I have free time. And with the free time, what did I do? I developed more projects. I built things that I enjoyed. I have more experiences and knowledge on things that I would have never had if I would have stayed in just that business. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just one of those things, bro. Like, when you, like, it was so hard because I was like, it's a battle of giving up something that you've been working for so long. Like, I'm dying. I was finally making the money that I wanted to make. And then I'm like, okay, here it goes again. I got to give it up in order to be, like, happy. Let's go. Let's do it. And I'll do that every single time. I've been offered a ton of money, and I'll always turn it down because, like, I don't want someone to be able to buy me, to control me. Absolutely not. And that's that's come up to my life multiple times where even when I was very young, like, this is actually a pretty cool story. So when I was like 22, I threw house parties. So I was like 14. That's why I made put money and then whatever. But dude, when I got turned 21, I'm trying to do business. Like, I was like interning, like, for this guy. I was like his assistant. I was learning internet marketing, and just kind of, there's a whole story there. But I would still get hit up by, like, people from, like, oh, like, I heard you're good at throwing parties, and, like, can you do this? Can you do that? And it was like this guy, he had just bought 3 clubs in South Beach. I don't know from what kind of money or whatever. But he buys 3 clubs. He hits me up. He's like, dude, I want you. Hits me up. I'm like broke, dude. I'm so broke. Like I remember my buddy lent me his Jeep Cherokee, and I have $20 to my name, and I was just so miserable because I was like in the middle of building the obstacle course race, the Benjamin Dash thing, because all my money was going to that, and I'm like trying to do like side jobs and whatever. And I'm like, bro, I'm so miserable. And then I got an opportunity, like, bro, come do an interview in Homestead, like some freaking nursery marketing job. I'm like, all right. I knew I wasn't gonna do it. And then the flip side, this other guy calls me. He goes, hey, I want you to come meet this guy. He just bought like 3 clubs. He really wants to talk to you. He needs your advice. He's not from here. I'm like, okay. So, bro, I put $20 in this Jeep Cherokee V8. That shit didn't do nothing, bro. I drove all the way to home. It was like my car was already on E. So I drove all the way to Homestead, like deep, deep Homestead. Did the interview. Obviously, just looked at them like, yo, I'm be honest with you, I don't want to do this. And then I drove all the way to the South Beach. Dude, from that point, my car was already on E. Like, I had no money to get back home, right? Just think about that. I had a meeting with the guy. I get goosebumps telling a story. I meet up the meeting with the guy, whatever. Long story short, hits it off. The guy's like, dude, I really like you. Like, I need someone I can trust. Like, I just know that you're the man for this. Like, I want to make you like the president of the company. Like, you run the whole thing. Like, all you gonna wear suits. Like, this is a real Miami ass story, right? By the way, are you gonna wear suits? You know, this and that. And the guy just literally, I swear to God, bro, just gives me like I think it was like 10 grand cash in the moment. And he goes, here, are you gonna? I was like, look, man, that's fine, but like, I'll be honest with you right now. I'm like, I'm not in a good spot. Like, you know, like he wants to pay me like a ton of money a year and this and that. I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, dude, I know the Miami scammers, bro. Yeah, I was only like 20 something, like 20. I think it was 19 or 20. I was like, dude, I know Miami scammers. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But so I asked the right questions, and he's like, no, all I want you to wear is suits now. I was like, look, man, I'm not in a good spot. Like, if you want me to do this, like, I would definitely need some cash to like even get started. Bonus. And he was like, perfect. Here, bro, just literally counts out like I think it was like 8 grand cash. Hands me it. Dude, I just had my last $20. My cards are maxed out. I put the last 20 in my gas tank to get here. Gives me 8 grand cash. I'm like, bro, I'm literally in shock. Okay, cool. Take the money. I'm like, all right, so what's up? Like, I'm already ready. I'm quitting the fucking dumbass part-time job I was working at, which I had quit already 3 times from. But the guys kept like letting me come back because I was just a good sales guy, I guess. And I'm like, all right, bet. So I walked out of there. Like, bro, I'm just like tears, bro. Like, wow, this is freaking crazy. And I go into like a suit place, buy a fucking suit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, all right, God, I like this.
As a matter of fact, I will have the champagne.
I was like, I will have the champagne, right? And this guy's like having me, it's funny you say champagne. He's actually having me test. While I'm meeting with him, somebody's coming in with a bottle of like champagne. And he's like, oh, pour us 2 glasses of champagne, like to like congratulate the partnership or whatever. And then he's like, Gian, what do you think about this? And he's looking at the glass, and I'm like, he goes, you see the fingerprints? I'm like, yeah, it has some fingerprints on it. He goes, oh, he screams at the guy, like, go wash this glass. I'm like, yo, this is so funny. And, but yeah, man, so those are the kind of things that happen, right? Like I took the cash and I built that, right? But it's just so funny how things like that can happen, bro. Like, it's just so funny. Fast forward just to end that story, like I ended up giving the guy the money back.
Wow. What?
So I get home.
With $20 short.
Yeah, no, watch. So I get home. I know this guy's sketch. I don't know where he got this money. He's walking around with like 6 security guards at all times. Like, weird. You know what I mean? No hate to him, but you're up to some shady shit. And bro, in my heart, bro, I'm just like, mind you, I'm building like this passion project simultaneously. So this goes against everything that I'm doing. So in my heart, I'm like, oh my God, this is not right. Like, this guy's doesn't work. Get home. I look at my mom, like, Mom, I know I really need this money. Like, I really need this money. And like this guy, but I just feel like she goes, and my mom knows. And at the time, my mom also needed money. Like, we're going through it. And I'm like, she goes, honey, just do what your heart tells you. You're going to figure it out. Just pray about it. I'm like, you know, when she says shit like that, I'm just like, all right, I know what to do. Oh, God. So I'm like, after like 2 weeks, so like I was just helping him with advice and like connecting him with people and stuff like that. I go to him. I'm like, look, man, can you meet up with me? And I just told him like, look, here's your money back. This guy pulls up in a brand new Rolls Royce, like with his like henchmen or whatever. This guy looked like he killed people. Pulled up and I'm like, look here, man, here's your cash. It's $1 grand short, whatever. I don't know how much it was short. I'll give it back to you if you want. He goes, no, don't worry. But what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you leaving? What are you going to do? You're going to be a bartender? You're going to be like what are you going to do? And I'm like, bro, honestly, like I have this thing I'm building right now. To me, it's bigger than whatever you're offering me. Bro, this guy could not believe that I said no. Because he thought he basically bought me. Like, oh, this kid's going to work for me forever. Like, whatever. I'm like, no, I'm good, fam. Like, I don't need it. And that's when I realized where I'm like, yo, no one's going to buy me in this life. You know what I mean? And everything's going to always work out. Because I was able to turn that down when, like, I think my mom's house was, like, under foreclosure. I had no bread, no money, etc. And I was still able to turn someone like that down. That gives me a little bit more of, like, a certainty into what I'm going to do in this life. You know what I mean? So that was just, like, a big moment. I just wanted to share with you, I guess.
Yeah. It sounds like you didn't sell your soul. That's a good one.
That shit was cool.
And one of the few here in Miami.
Right, but it's happened. But that shit keeps coming back. Oh, it keeps testing you, man. Those things test you all the time in life, man. And you gotta really test. It happens to me. It happens to me in like business all the time. And you get, there's things you can do, and then like you have a choice always. Are you gonna do that, or are you gonna do it right? And I'm just like, no, bro, I'm doing it right, even if it means losing everything. I'd rather just not do it, and that's it.
Absolutely.
So
I want to get some little rapid fire like tidbits.
Yeah, man. Sorry, I went off on that story, but I was like, I haven't said that story, and I was like, damn, I just remembered that one. That was good.
You painted me a picture. I'm like, I forgot we're in an interview. But yeah, no. If you can, like, what are you currently reading? What are your top books that you recommend?
So right now, I'm reading. I'm rereading The One Thing by Gary Keller, which is like, I don't know. Someone gave me that book when I was getting into real estate. I loved it. Because I'm such a person where I do a million things. I really like it. That one I was reading. I'm reading some audiobooks now. Which is the one I'm reading right now? Honestly, I've been like, I just dabble into like, I start audiobooks and then I pause them and I go into another one. It was something not a Millionaire Next Door. I read that one, but something millionaire. It's this guy, whatever. I just jumped into it.
What's some books that you are must reads?
Oh, dude, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, obviously. Rich Dad Poor Dad for sure. Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. I've read. There's one called. I like Damon John's book. I forgot what it is. It's like little short stories, but I think Damon John's is like, it was a good way he structured it. The Tim Ferriss 4-Hour Work Week for sure.
Classic.
I think The Intelligent Investor is that? Yeah, I think that one.
Benjamin Graham.
Is it Intelligent Investor? Anyways, no, I'm not gonna co-sign a book unless I know it for sure. Like, I'm giving you the top.
Where are you getting your knowledge these days? Mostly from peers.
Dude, just podcasts, reading, audio books, but like mostly
conferences.
Yeah, that too. I'm going to. I just came back from Alibaba Co-Create event right now in Vegas, and then I'm going to another conference in Vegas again in October. And I definitely want to do like another Tony Robbins event in November. Because I've done it before, the whole UPW.
Gotta go with Date with Destiny.
Date with Destiny.
That's the one.
I haven't done that one. And I want to do business mastery and all that stuff too. But
there's a part 2 on business mastery.
Is there?
Yeah, they get you.
I just love it. I mean, I'm sorry. Let me go back. I've also done Landmark Forum.
Yeah, of course.
I've done the Landmark Forum, which is honestly gave me a lot of real.
Everyone talks that I know that it's in the space here locally. They all talk about it. And they're like, you got to do it. I'm like
you haven't done Landmark Forum?
No, I know. It's surprising.
Oh, shoot.
I'm so far in my journey. I feel like if I did Landmark, I'm like going all the way to square one. And
yeah.
I've been trying to find someone to introduce to it. So I'm like, I'll just go with you because it's more for you than it should be.
Yeah. No, man. I mean, I was kind of like, was my first like mentor. He's like, you have to do it. I'll buy your ticket or whatever. And I was like, and I was quitting on him, by the way. And he still gave me the money to buy the ticket.
Literally changed your life.
Changed my life, yeah.
All it takes is one personal development.
Dude,
event.
huge.
For you to realize, holy shit, I learned more about myself here.
2 seconds. Like that one weekend, wow. And I honestly, I'm a little upset because I really wanted to send like my fam and like, in the moment, it's obviously also kind of like a business. So like, do want you to bring more people and continue it. But I genuinely felt like I got so much out of it that I still talk about stuff from it to this day. You know what I mean? And you mentioned something which was interesting, that you had to call some friends and you're going through a forgiveness thing, right? That was part of one of the courses or the forums there. Dude, I had to call every single person that's ever did me wrong. I was 21 years old, bro. I had people that lied to me, like kind of did me wrong, stole from me.
Which is wild.
Dude, I was blaming my stepmom for my dad's death.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, it's just heavy shit. And I was like, bro, I called her in the middle of, you don't think about the reasons anymore. Once you get to that point, you realize how good it's going to be when you talk about it. Bro, I was just like, boom, called her. She's like, what? Everybody I called cried.
No,
Everybody.
it's even, I mean, my friend that I was talking about, like, I'm going to forgive him. He's like, I don't know why you're doing that. Like, why would you ever? And I'm like, it's not my decision. God has gave me, he wants me to forgive. There's brothers and sisters.
It's like, dude, it's like, forgive me for whatever I forgive me for however I acted or created for you to want to respond to me that way.
The thing is, going to one of my favorite books is Jack Canfield's Success Principle. The success principle is literally take 100% of responsibility of your life. So yeah, I could go and blame them, but it's like, I can't control that. So I'm saying my life is out of my control. So by actually apologizing means that I allowed myself for that event to be created, which means I am the creator of my life. And anything. If someone hits me with the car and it's their fault, that was my fault. I should have been more aware. I should have had more spectral awareness of the things going on.
That's a great way of looking at it, because I think it just becomes where it's not, when there's no blame, I think people don't react in a bad way, right? Like, oh, you did this, you did that. Like, no, what actually happened, let's take it back. An object crossed in front of another object and there's a collision. Everything else you add to that is you attaching meaning to it. So like, you're attaching the fact that the guy wanted to hit you with the car, or that you purposely jumped in front of the car because you wanted. There's so much we could add to things.
And truth is subjective. At the end of the day, like, you and I could have two truths that when we go and we start telling and we tell somebody, it's conflicting. At the end of the day, because you have a perspective of something and I have a perspective of something, and on two different perspectives doesn't make us wrong. And if you understand that, you see the world in your VR headset, right? In your three-dimensional VR headset. And that's your reality, which you created. But how are you going to let someone else create your reality?
No, I think that's like a huge one. I think people just be less conflict that way, man.
It is, right? It's the friction. It's the grinding.
It's just like, dude, like, it's not a big deal. You don't have to, like, I get it. Sometimes it's good to be aggressive, right? And I'm actually learning to be a little bit more savage, for a lack of a better word, right? And it's something I talk about this with one of my friends the other day. It's like, he's like, dude, you need to be a little bit more savage, like a splash of savage, because I'm just so Kumbaya. Chill and like, and I'm like, oh man, who knows what they're going through, right? But I've realized, right, in business and in life, you have to sometimes be a little bit like, and I wouldn't say assertive, I would just be like, I'm not gonna let that kind of like slide. And when you put people in check like that, it's not because you're being disrespectful or whatnot. It's just like, you set a frame of either respect and how you want to conduct the relationship, right? Because if not, people will just, because sometimes they're doing it with ill intent and you wouldn't even notice, or they don't even notice because they just haven't even like developed that. But I think that's, if you want to, like, here's a little tidbit of like what I think is important to be a little savage, be emotionally intelligent and be empathetic and be very patient. But when you need to actually like kind of step up and put people in their place.
Yeah, it's funny because I had this conversation the other day, and to give with expectations is not really to give. It's you're giving with strings attached. And if I do something for you and then I expect you to act a certain way, then did I really do that authentically? And if I do something for you and then you take advantage of me, well, then then I didn't really give without expectations, like I gave it to you. But if I give to you and the way that you kind of responded to that was what you're saying, that malintent, I'm like, oh, you don't get a second chance with me. Everyone gets one chance. You'll get one on me. And I tell people, because I've had people like, they've gotten me for 5-6 figures, and when that happens, I'm like, you just missed out. You just took 10 grand, but you missed out on 50.
Dude, right now, I'm so chill about it, but like, people don't understand. When you've experienced like what you're just saying, you just realize like, dude, take it. Like, if I was so worried that I would never make it again, then you would see the response from me. But worse for you to ruin a relationship for someone that will continuously be able to water and produce that over and over again. So like, it's like I was saying, like, I don't even fight my battles, bro. God fights my battles for me. Like, I'm chilling. Like, do me wrong. I've been screwed over a million times. I'm just chilling. I stay quiet. I'm good. Again, if there's a line that needs to be like kind of created, I'll create that line. But it's all good. You know what you can bring to the table. So it's like, it's unfortunate. It saddens me more when people do you wrong, because it's like, man, I wish you would see the bigger picture. I wish you would be able to understand. And look, goes back to when I was like a kid throwing like, I was selling like tickets for like all age festivals and stuff like that. And I had like a bunch of promoters under me, and then one kid stole the ticket. You know how that used to happen. They used to steal the tickets because they were physical tickets, and then they would sell them and never collect the cash. And I caught this kid like red-handed selling tickets. So, like, I mean, stole tickets and said that someone robbed him. And then I found out with someone else that like he was selling it on the side. So we kind of set him up, and I just looked at him and I was like, bro, it's not about you stole. If you would have needed the cash, because he's like had some issue going on supposedly, I was like, dude, I would have just gave it to you, or you would have just told me. I'm like, yo, don't worry about it. Maybe I had the money, I would have fronted it to you, because that's just who I am. But the fact that you did it like this, it's like, that's it. You've eliminated that integrity with me, dude. I kind of took it in a different approach than like, you know, when I was like, oh, what the fuck, you know, I didn't get mad with it. The kid hits me up every day, and he would apologize, and I think every month for like 2 years, the guy was sending me like $20. And paid off the debt. That's like, amazing. Dude, I respect that person so much. You have no idea. I have people right now that stole money, taking money from me, and they didn't even give me $1.
Oh yeah.
And right now, I actually have some guy that's like, taking some money, and I'm just like, dude, if you need it, I'll give you more. If you're going through something right now, tell me. I'll give you more so we can solve the problem together, so that you can get out of your situation, so that you can be more valuable to the world and to me and to everybody. Not so much like, just don't take this and then don't answer.
Yeah, it's separation.
It's just like you have a short mentality, dude. Like, look at the big picture. I'm willing to help more than you think. It's just such a shame, man. It's so whatever, but it happens.
People have that back to separation, that you against me. It's like there is none. It's us against the world.
It's like, oh, I got to do it because I got to take care of my own. I'm like, dude, I mean, like, okay.
We are. I mean, we're united.
We're all supposed to be a team, especially if you're in the same like business or whatever. But that's just how it is, man. It sucks, and, you know, and I'm just trying to be more, I'm trying to be, and when I say compassionate, I mean in the sense of like, you could always react 2 ways, right? You can go like crazy, but also I could say, if I pour more love into you, even if you did me wrong, you're going to remember that more than if I reacted negatively to you. And like, I have a friend that I think this guy has, his spiritual bank account is like insane, because this guy will give everything and just be so nice and loving to people, even when they treat him like dirt. And it's just crazy, because if you think of that person, it's like, that guy's never going to go hungry, because people will see that person at any time and be like, yo, I need to take care of that guy. But that's what people don't understand. The more you give love, and like, not money, the more you give love and like that to people, which people are needing like crazy nowadays, you'll never be without anything, you know? So
it costs you $0 to be a good person.
That's it. Like, dude, people, I'm like, I could be so angry right now. This guy, there's a situation I'm going through where it's like, it's backed me up completely because someone just kind of ghosted me, bro. And in the beginning, I didn't need to give him what I gave him, but I did it because I was like, you know what? Let me build another like olive branch to this person. Let me hook them up. Let me see if we can build another relationship. It backfired, but I'm like, I want to say this, but let me just give it this.
And this is wild. It's like, you really valued our relationship at $2,500.
Right.
That was the number. All right.
Yeah. I just think about people doing the same. So I always think of like, okay, it's this amount, but imagine
what it could have been.
What it could be. Imagine like millions of dollars. Like, this deal wasn't $millions of dollars, but it's like a good amount of chunk. It was like, okay, but it could have been big. And then what happens then? Like, how would I? And then I think to myself, would I feel the same way if it matters more to me, or it would matter less than me? Because like the amount I gave him wasn't going to change my life, but it's significant for me at this moment. But over there, like, let's say if I'm at a level where I'm just, here, try this out, and it's $1 million or like $10 million, I'm like, damn, how would I feel? What would I go through in that sense? Or
there's only one way to find out,
right? You know, like that. But you know what's funny, man? You prepare yourself with those situations. Like, I try to 10x everything that's happening. Like, okay, I'm here now. If this happened to me later on when I'm at this level, am I gonna react to it the right way? Am I gonna be the same person reacting to it? Like, am I gonna still have my intentions and my morals? You get what I'm saying? Like, I try to prepare myself, man, because I know I'll get there. So I'm like, okay, that's what happened to me, and this is how I reacted. If this happens, it's the same thing, same situation, different objective number. That's it. Or a different situation, but same. I'm the same person.
Absolutely.
You know, whatever.
Yeah. So I wanna ask real quick, what predictions do you see in the forthcoming months, maybe years? Let's get you documented, so if anyone comes through.
Yeah, okay, cool, yeah. All right, everyone put their bets, all right?
What do we got?
Predictions. Shit, man. Let's do the election. That one's like such a toss up. I don't even, like. I'm honestly
That's
so
crazy.
like.
I know.
I have no idea at this point. But Damn, it's crazy. They just tried assassinating Trump again, man.
Yeah.
That's wild. But whatever. Not even to get political. I'm just so like freaked out of how the world is right now. It's so random.
The thing we could take this so many. You can say possible wars. You can
say possible wars. You can say like
allies.
assassination. We could talk about who's gonna be like
win presidency. You could talk about
economic
economy,
yeah.
housing market. You can talk about obviously the financial market. You could talk about what predictions.
I think I do predict
Bitcoin to $1 million by New Year.
Hopefully,
I can't wait.
Well, I definitely think we're gonna have a huge rally in crypto again for sure. I definitely think we're gonna have. Dude, I'm just gonna throw the president thing out there. I just want to see if like I'm right or wrong. I think the presidential campaign is gonna happen. I think one more assassination attempt may happen. I guess that's gonna kind of just like throw the country kind of like a little bit disarray. Okay, I'll do these things. If Kamala wins, I feel like we're gonna have like a mini civil war.
Yeah, I think there's too many. Look at the rallies. It's too many people.
I feel like too many people are passionate
when he got
for the
shot
opposite
in the
side.
ear and he had that, everyone was wearing the bandages. I was like, oh my god, the bandages are the new mask.
That's what I'm saying. I just feel like if that happens, there's gonna be a lot of unrest, which is gonna be
it's gonna look
shitty.
like make January 6th look like a freaking walking.
Yeah, it's gonna just be like sucky because now it's like, dude, America's great when there's no drama. Like it's like it's like we gotta be as like united as possible, but it's gonna divide us again. There's gonna be a lot more like polarizing things again. So, I hope not, but I think something like that may happen again before it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Let's say I'm gonna say Trump wins. I'm gonna say he wins, and if he does, I think it's still gonna be a lot of unrest. I think it's still gonna be a lot of polarizing stuff. I think everything's gonna be the same. Everything's always gonna happen. Just focus on you. But Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's gonna finally hit like 100. Has it hit 100 yet? No.
Oh, I went to 70.
70. So I think it's gonna hit 100. Not this year, next year.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think
140 next year.
140. All right, 140. That's your call. I think electric cars are gonna kind of like die out.
Yeah. Okay.
I think EV's gonna die out.
Combustible engines, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's too many problems. All these EV cars, their value are tanking.
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy. I don't think it just doesn't make sense. But I think that's gonna kind of die out. It's gonna either die out. It's gonna be more hybrid.
Unless a new power source.
Correct. I feel like they're gonna create a new power source that makes more sense. That would be nice. Super cool. I think weed's gonna. Well, we already know. I think weed's gonna be legal. All the United States eventually. Mushrooms are gonna become the new weed. Like it's gonna be like, which is already happening. It's already happening. But have you noticed that though? Like now it's like people are like.
I went out. Someone's like, "Yo, you want some chocolates?" And
instead of like before, I was like, "You want to hit this joint?"
You want to hit the pen or joint?
Yeah, the joint. Yeah.
Like, I was like offered chocolates by 3 different groups of people that didn't know each other. I'm like, is everybody just tripping on mushrooms now?
So I tripped out when I met this older couple, and they were like talking about like, yeah, we have chocolates all the time. I'm like, damn, y'all crazy. All right, and they're like an older couple. I was like, okay, it's like becoming the thing, right? Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. What other subject can we predict?
Oh, I could rapid fire.
Go.
What rapid fire?
Go, shoot yours.
Of course, the civil unrest. I think we get disclosure. A lot of UFO sightings. That's a whole.
Okay.
That's another big one. I do think that, the old Trump has to take it. He has to take it. If not, it's stolen. I do believe that there will be a new element discovered in the next year. Whether that's probably cold fusion, which we'll see a huge technological leap that's going to happen. I think solar flares from the sun are actually going to emit some biological upgrades to humans, which we're going to see some crazy stuff. And I'll even get it as accurate as next year in May. We're going to see the world have this transcendental mystical moment where the news will actually tell us that, that was just a mass hallucination to try and wipe it off. But it's just true divinity being exposed. I will go as far as saying that I think there will be a blackout, some sort of nationwide actual.
We almost got one, remember?
electrical- Yeah,
Recently
with the
airlines.
CrowdStrike and the airline. Yeah, I called on Twitter weeks ago that planes were going to start falling from the sky. I think that trend will continue because I think they want us to not travel so much. So they want to create that fear. You see what's happening with Boeing. I do see that. I do see housing market is just not sustainable. I do see the U.S. economy kind of collapsing, and then BRICS and the new currency they're taking end up being at the forefront. I see stable coins actually being really, really aggressive in the sense of like everyday use. I do see. I mean, I'll keep going.
You're shooting, bro. My boy talking to the future right now.
Yeah. I will say that VR still we'll see some leaps with the technology and the chips. So that I think the Vision Pro Quest is had a nice little whoop, went viral, went out.
Right.
But that we're going to see something great, whether it's something like Fortnite creating their world into that and actually creating a massive multiplayer online game that you could actually experience in VR. When that happens, I start seeing more rapid adoption on that space. And then obviously when GTA 6 comes out, we're going to see a huge explosion when it comes down to blockchain, just because of the cryptocurrency economy that's backing it.
Yeah.
I do see Bitcoin flipping gold. That's just clear as day what's happening. Bitcoin is just, it's the best invention that humans have ever made. The only thing that's truly transparent, non-printable.
I love it. I think it's so cool.
Yeah. Deflationary at best. And I'm like, think about it. How many employees? I'm sorry. Look at how athletes. And I by the way, I see alcohol.
Oh man, that's a great one.
Alcohol.
I do see a decline. Actually, I was just researching this the other day.
Massive decline in alcohol.
I think
people are not drinking anymore.
Dude, I just saw a report that it's like people are going away to non-alcoholic drinks. I'm seeing
mocktails,
more.
Baby. Mocktails
bars. Are more and more menus now. So I do see that for sure. That's funny you say. Like, I remember I told you like how Pepsi's investing in all these companies. Yeah. Part of the reason I was doing that was just like researching, like, I want to see like where they're distributing, like who are they trying to buy out now. And I noticed that they bought out a bunch of these like holistic alternative like soda companies. And also I read into that, like liquor is going down and alcohol is going down, and like all this
clubs are going down. And what we're going to start seeing, and I do believe this is kind of the next experience that people are yearning for, like one-off experiences. These clubs that are just not changing, they're exact same. But we're going to see traveling events where you create this theme, you have this crazy social media following, and now you start taking that on the road and doing pop-ups at venues. I think we're going to start seeing these clubs kind of die out, but then they become event spaces where these themes can come in, bring their own audience, bring their own music, bring their own talent, bring their own kind of curation of this event, and that will be the next.
Then you like thing to do on a weekly basis.
Exactly. Like, for Lowe's in town, they're having a crazy little meetup over here, and like you can learn and talk and connect and network. Cool. Bye. Now we're hitting the next
I think that's touching on the club stuff, man. Obviously I'm in that world, but dude, it's just been so weird. Like it's after just COVID, not the same. Like we had a big boom after COVID, and then it just kind of just like everything stabilized. And I think people are more into like lounges now. People are more into like, I see like the cigar thing kind of trending now, like cigar bar. I love smoking cigars. I think that's a cool vibe. Like, I really feel like people are really yearning for knowledge now, and I feel like it's becoming. Notice, I have like nieces and nephews, and I try to pick their brain as much as possible. I have one from 10 years old. I have a 13-year-old. I have a 15-year-old, and then I have a 18-year-old, and then another 11-year-old. So like, I have a lot of nieces and nephews. So I'm always talking. I'm like, yo, what are you guys watching? What are you TikToking? And it's like, and one of them is like Roblox,
oh
bro.
God.
And then the thing is like, they're learning stuff, dude. They're like. They start like, oh, I don't want to eat sugar. Or like they start reading, like they probably went through like a TikTok trend where it's like, oh, don't eat sugar. You know what I mean? Like, when they're just like investing all this like time on TikTok and these deposits, hopefully good ones, right? Because you can go on like a bad algorithm, but they're just kind of like learning how, what's good for them, like how accessible knowledge is. It's going to be hard for people to be controlled, I think, unless you obviously put fear into them, and that's a whole other conversation. But like, if you give them so much knowledge, when YouTube first came out, I'm never going to forget. YouTube first came out. I'm typing in YouTube, motivation, enter. And it's just like, okay. And then it's like, how to make money. Okay. And then that's what I was typing in, searching. So I put myself in the position of these kids now where it's like, what are they searching now? Like, what are they asking? Because that's already accessible. You see like kids now making millions of dollars on the internet all the time. So it's like, what are they trying to discover? Like, what are they searching for? Like, what are they looking for? And I think we're coming to that time where, like, it's gonna be hard if you're not transparent soon.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, I see people making content. They're like, "Hey, everybody," and they have that voice, and it's like, "Oh, you're fake. You
Yeah.
got to be authentic. You got to sit in the
Dude,
pocket."
that's so big. Look,
People
remember back
wanna-
in then, Instagram, people used to post with the Lamborghini and the cars and the gold chains and the money, and it's just like, made it. And then now it's like, what actually pops off is like, oh, like your phone camera, like, yo, I'm here. I'm like, oh, I'm taking a shit, or like, just super transparent, like, and people are like, oh my god, like, you're so awesome. I love how natural
so
you are.
raw and
You're
authentic.
so raw and authentic. And it's like, I get it because people just get so tired of the bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, stop being somebody. You're like, don't project. It used to get people, and you'll still get people that don't know any better because they're not like, they haven't experienced it enough. But I think it's getting to reach everybody where like you're noticing, okay, that person's being salesy, that person's like not real, or he's putting up a front, and I think we're gonna get to that moment.
I'll tell you, one of my favorite predictions that I know with absolute certainty is that we're seeing algorithms shift, and we've seen, consciousness, and look at social media, right? You said it. Everyone was money hungry. All the influencers had thousands and thousands of people engaging with their content, and then everyone got throttled, shadow banned.
Mm-hmm.
They don't reach even close to the amount of
Right.
people they had anymore. And now you see them kind of focusing on, instead of money, on that community and servicing their communities and creating products and services that retain and hold them. And what I truly believe is that we're going to see a crazy rise of these micro influencers that have these tight-knit communities that brands want to work with even more to create, obviously, authentic faces, because brands, the founder-facing brands, where they have the founder's face
Right.
on the brand, but some founders don't want to be on camera, so they're going to rely on these micro influencers
to push
be
it.
the face. And we're going to see affiliate marketing, and what we've seen with TikTok Shop, and then Amazon's going to probably roll out a TikTok clone too.
Oh, they're already rolling. Yeah, they're trying already.
YouTube's on it, and an alternative for their shops, and they're actually integrating with Shopify. So I do believe, without a doubt, we're going to see a massive rise in content affiliate programs and actually networks going on. So
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of those companies pop up where they're aggregating a bunch of micro influencers. Like TikTok Shop killed it. I think that was such a great strategy that they did, where they opened up an affiliate aspect where you can hire the affiliates through TikTok's platform.
Keep it all within the platform.
It tells you how much they've sold. It tells you what content went viral for them,
how much
it generated.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. There's like,
Tools out
there's
there,
Tallow
ridiculous.
data that shows you all the trends and like all the sales. Like, there's just so much out there right now that like, but I love the fact that it's like organic content. Like even for like the Pump Pow brand that we have, like it's so funny what sells. Like what
So
sells is just
easy.
people just being real, putting gas, and it's like, oh shit, I gotta put a glove. Like people just love real content. Like, but now my question is, what's gonna come after? Because this is where I knew it was kind of going this way. We could kind of foresee that people are tired of like the flexing on Instagram or whatever. Like it's gonna be more organic, which I feel like it has. Now it's getting there. But what's after the organic? Is everyone just gonna be on Instagram Live and TikTok Live and just like
lifestyle products?
just lifestyle? Like
I think it's you telling your story and just simple product placement in your everyday life, and you just sharing your truth and being we're seeing how.
Or are you gonna speak about it though? Like, are you think it's gonna get to the point where like in movies where it's like product placement, like the movie's going on, but the guy has like a little Nike.
I mean, I think it'll be more like YouTube, where it's there in the bottom and it's actually changing. Like if you look at, I don't know if it's Netflix or which one of these streamers, Amazon, the streaming, whenever you pause, it shows all the actors, IMDb, that are currently on screen or in that scene. I don't think it'll be something like that. But what we're seeing with social media, it's going to go away from posting content, and it's going to actually think about VR, what social media or the future is. It's this. It's I show up in a room, people know I'm in a room, and then they can be in that room with me. So it's not going to be curating content or product placement and things like that. It's just going to be me there, being there, and I could actually
having a little hub, like, hey, look, come through and hear me out.
Yeah, and I could use these. Look at my, freaking Pump Pow NFT that allows me to, fuel my. I don't know.
Right.
I think these simple product placements like that.
I like the idea of like what I'm even thinking about even past it, like where is like, imagine, are people going to start investigating more the people that they like, right? Like in the sense of like, how people like athletes, like kids are probably like researching, oh, what glove does he use? Or like, what shoes does he wear? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are we going to become, because again, I do think it gets overwhelming and gets watered down. Like we don't even notice billboards anymore.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like you pass by a billboard, you see it every freaking day. You don't even know it's there. Whatever. Sure, it's probably dropping in your mind's recognition.
I know with absolute certainty. I walked by this billboard 100 times. I'm scrolling. I never go on Netflix. I'm
Yeah.
in Mexico City at the time, and like I'm kind of with my buddy. We're like, we have time to kill. What are we gonna do? He's like, let's just put something on. I see Netflix is like logged in from the previous Airbnb person,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm scrolling, and out of nowhere, I'm like, I picked the most random movie. It was so we didn't even make it halfway through the movie, and then we ended up leaving to go eat. And as we're walking, I see this billboard that I walked across 100 times, and I look at it. I'm like, "Do you think we picked that movie because of that billboard that we're just noticing?"
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
And it's just been this like crazy paradox where I'm like, did I pick the movie and then notice that, or did I notice that?
Correct.
And then pick the movie?
Yeah. I think about stuff like all the time. I'm like, is that what happened first or whatever? But I also think it's one of those things where like things are gonna have to just be really subtle. And I think the soft sell is gonna be bigger when people are like in regards to like brands and companies. The soft sell is always gonna win.
Sales don't feel like sales
Because it doesn't feel like sales. Like, look, and to be honest, like as a salesperson, like I guess for my business, right? Like I'm talking to clients like every single day. I'm always like new business, new products. I don't sell anything. I'm just like, this is how I do it. This is what it is. Do you want to do it with me or not? I'm gonna guarantee you, like, yo, I don't even start telling them guarantees. I'm just like, this is what I do.
I've done this.
Like, I've done this. This is what I do. This is who we are. I get it. I understand the game. Bottom line. How I'm approaching it is what you're going to pretty much get out of it. Like, do you hear my energy? Do you hear how I'm talking to you? Do you see how certain I am? Like, that's because I know what I'm doing. Not because I'm telling you, oh, I've done this and I've sold millions of dollars and da-da-da-da-da.
Here's my case study.
And here's my... No, I'm just like, do you hear me? I'm serious. Like, I can get this done. I know what I'm talking about. Bottom line. And then you just kind of like, it's on you.
You know, it's wild though, because I'm genuinely seeing it. Everybody's broke. All the people I'm working with, they're just like, I mean, I'm talking about a brand making $1 million a month that is trying to like.
Oh, like they're not really profiting?
No, like they're haggling on a $5K invoice. I'm like, what is going on? This is something you need. And like I did work for free for 1 month, and then it ended up extending to 2 months. I'm like, that's fine, because this is going to be an easy retainer.
Right.
And they're like, oh, yeah, I was thinking more of like a 3K budget. I'm like, do you understand what you're getting here? Like, you really want to scale this back? And it's just, the times are tough.
And the bottom line, people don't really know their bottom line.
Yeah.
I feel like people really don't know their bottom line, dude.
They're so blind.
It's so blind.
How many companies have...
Oh, there's companies that are huge.
Yeah,
they've raised money and everything. They're still not profitable.
Yeah.
And they're like in stores and everything.
Yeah.
They don't get profitable for a while, which is
it's just and we're seeing it. I call it restaurant Mageddon, where restaurants are closing.
Restaurants are closing everywhere, man.
Closing.
I'm dying to open up like a upscale lounge restaurant, and I will.
You know what I want to open up?
What?
A fun factory. Like a membership only warehouse where you can go. You can kind of like
what do you do there?
Co-working space you create.
Like Rob Dyrdek's
kind of
Fantasy Factory?
Kind of,
was it Fantasy Factory?
Not like it could be content centric, sure, but also kind of like collaborative opportunity, like an actual think tank, kind of like an incubator as well.
Just a place where you can get ideas.
A place.
I like that. That's cool.
You can create. It's nothing like that,
dude. I love that, because honestly, sometimes I'm talking to like my business partner.
And it's an event space too, of course.
Yeah. But but again, it has to be multi-purpose. Here's actually saying that. I think we're also going towards a trend, especially for restaurants. Everything's going to be multi-purpose. I think we're going to get to a point where all the restaurants are sharing space. Have you ever seen like a Dairy Queen with a Dunkin' Donuts?
I thought you were talking about like 1-800-LUCKY, where it's just like a.
Oh no, that too. But I'm just giving you like those examples, like where it's like one location and it's like the dessert place is inside of the dinner or the lunch place. What the heck? And they're sharing space because rent's freaking ridiculous, dude, so and it makes no sense. Like
and I just don't understand why they're homeless people. Have you ever driven through Texas?
No.
You know how much land is in Texas?
Oh.
How are there homeless people living on the streets?
Yeah, but the thing is, how are they gonna make money to live in those homes in Texas? You have to like get to the whole government side of it and all that.
I mean, yeah, but just let's not send $1 trillion to Ukraine and just 3D.
Oh, dude, yeah, 100%. I agree with that 100%. When I just start seeing those like news, we just sent this many trillions, this many trillions.
Really realize.
No, people don't get it.
Is how much.
Well, remember, 90% of the world doesn't even know what that money is. Doesn't know what that money does. They didn't even see close to $1 million. So it's like they're hearing that number. To them, it's just fictitious. Like, oh, that's just normal government stuff. But like, if you really break it down, that's a lot of money.
No, it's something like you can make. I think it was like $100,000 a day, all the way back to the times that the pyramids were built. And you won't have enough money that they sent compared to Ukraine. It's some
Wow.
crazy stat like that.
That's wild. I'm sure it's a crazy stat because
I feel like I'm gonna clip that, post that, and everyone's gonna correct me in the comments. But
yeah.
I'll roll with it.
Right. No, I mean, I'm sure it's a crazy stat. I think it's definitely a lot of money. And again, dude, like, bro, I'm all about saving the world, and I understand that we're like the big, military power, and I think we have to be, protect the allies, etc. But there's just like to a certain extent, right? And like not to get political, it's just common sense sometimes. Like, dude, like there's certain things you got to do to a certain extent. Like, we also have issues here that need to be addressed too, And like you can't help somebody, like they say in the plane's crashing, like put the oxygen mask first before you help someone else. And we're over here like giving oxygen out to everybody else. I'm like, dude, we're still kind of broken. We have a lot of like issues down here.
I can't breathe.
But people down here, like, I guess.
I got a question.
Yeah.
If you were president, what would you run on?
What would I run on?
Yeah.
I'm big on. I would have social, like, again, contrary to what you're going to hear next, I'm big on like social programs to a certain extent. I would do them with requirements, right? Like I think people need to have like, there's certain like benchmarks that you need to hit to be able to get social assistance 100%. I'm big on like, I think capitalism, I'm big on business. People don't realize like businesses is what makes the world go around, in my opinion. Like businesses give jobs give people money. People with money, they spend money in the economy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So like I would have a really good entrepreneurship like program, hopefully like federally, and that would be up to the states or whatever. I would try to make healthcare a little bit more affordable, but obviously like you don't want to also go full like socialist, in my opinion, because then it just I'd have to look at the economics of it. I just don't really know, but I do think we should get a little bit benefit. I think for America, what it is, we should have like definitely like if we had that, we'd be next level. Like if we had free healthcare in America,
healthcare,
but I mean, like, right. But then that comes with the negative because they get taxed like crazy, So it's like, so
Fascist.
Figuring out some happy medium where like maybe we can get the money from somewhere else, but maybe not sending it out to so many wars or whatever. But definitely, I'd be strong in the positions. I like manufacturing here, but I'm not ignorant that you need to import from China.
Of course.
I'm not. Because, dude, as much as I would love the United States to manufacture, like I have a manufacturing plant.
Of course.
I manufacture here. Like I have machines in my warehouse. It's freaking cool. I love it. And I deal with a lot of guys that are local, and they also have manufacturing for different things, for like bottles or whatever. But when push comes to shove and you're looking at a global economy, you're looking at like commerce and stuff, like, dude, there's no way the guy that's down the street for me is going to give me that piece of plastic for the price that I'm getting it from China. There's just no way. So it's like, but guess what? I still use him. You know why? Sometimes I need something quick. He's here. It's available. I'm going to use it. So I would definitely I would give incentive to manufacturing places here, like maybe give people a tax incentives if they buy from local manufacturers here, something like that. Obviously not completely like negate and make it impossible to get from China or from other countries. Dude, I mean, the whole border stuff, I think it's like, this is so funny, I've never talked politics, but I think the border stuff is...
Oh, you're president now.
I'm president now, so I guess I gotta tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm big on like, for example, like the Mexico thing. People are like, "Oh, the border." Dude, like,
I love Mexicans.
Yeah,
I was a big investor in Mexico.
Yeah.
Pandemic,
I think it's just like one of those things where like you have to, everything just has to be done with a process, dude. Like no one's, I'm like my family was an immigrant. Like my family came here from Cuba. We're all immigrants. Like obviously we might as well create something that's gonna make sense. You can't just ban it completely and whatever. We just need to be better at that, have a better process, I think, and not just make it a free-for-all. Because, like, if we know something's not working and it's, like, literally a free-for-all, then it's not good either. But I would double down the infrastructure to making immigration a little bit better, like the process and all that stuff. And what else is, like, a topic? I don't know. Guns. I think people should have guns. I think it's freaking important. I don't even like, I'm not like a big like cowboy or anything like that, but like I get it. I've had situations in my family where like people have gotten robbed at gunpoint. Like like a very innocent person in my family just got robbed, and because he had a gun on him, he saved his life. And it was crazy, like, and people don't think about those situations. Oh, but then what about the schools?
Never happened to me.
Right. But it's like, He literally got ran up on with 3 people with guns. And like, because he had a gun, his life was saved. Bottom line.
Better to have it and not need it than need it.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm hearing that, but I also am not ignorant to the fact of like, yes, we don't, I don't think like we need high powered, like crazy guns out there where we can freaking wipe, like bazookas being sold in the market. I'm not agreeing to that either.
No,
like,
so ban RPGs.
Yeah, I think we should have RPGs. I think that's fair.
Ban drone warfare.
Oh my God.
That's my nightmare right now.
This is crazy, man.
I gotta get off Twitter.
Dude, it's just, there's a lot, man. Being president's a tough job.
Right.
So I think I'm going to stay in my lane and just keep building businesses, and like, I'm going to try to impact the world in just by like inciting good practices and like giving people good karma and like just kind of just being a good human. So that kind of transcend, maybe that eventually reaches up to the president. You know, I feel like if you influence enough people, they can eventually influence the top leaders. So shit, just gonna be doing good, That's it. What about, what would you do? I don't know. What's your presidential take? Yeah, bro. I gotta hear your presidential take. I know you have some.
I'm
some
always
idea.
Subsidized farmers, education reform.
Oh my God, education. Okay, yeah, I want that one for sure.
I'd privatize education, actually.
Okay.
And I'd use AI to actually customize everyone's journey. I'd get rid of the whole standardization of English and math. If you want to learn math. Only learn math. Go straight like China, specialize. Don't go. You don't need to be like a generalist. If you don't like numbers, don't go to numbers. Stick to whatever the case is. Defund the military. I think someone needs to do it. And since we are the biggest, it's like someone needs to kind of step back. For sure, I'd go after corporations like Monsanto and those types. Like I can't. I mean, obviously, stronger borders, immigrations, all for it. Which ones? I'm like, let me see it.
There's some. You hit me with the education reform. I am a huge proponent of that. Like, dude, education is just ridiculous.
I mean, I just don't understand why an organization like Apple doesn't say we're going into education, and just boom, Apple use our computers. It's already native software, and then I'll even put blockchain on. I think the future of privatized education is going to be using blockchain. And when you learn something, instead of getting a grade, you're going to get a token that's non-transferable. And you can create this identity throughout your years that says this is what I'm good at. And then you can kind of gamify the education system. And then,
dude, that's actually, my buddy had a company that was trying to do like that. I think it was called Kudos, and it was gamifying education.
Yeah, learn to earn.
Like, man.
Yeah.
Damn, and you just hit me with that one. I completely forgot. Man, there's so much to do, right? Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes people are like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, dude, we just talked about like a million ideas.
Pick one of those.
This guy just talked about gamifying education. We just talked about like, bro, you could like subsidizing farmers. Like, come on, man. Like, there's a lot. There's so many pockets that we can do to like collaboratively make the world a better place. But
absolutely, because the world needs it now more than ever.
That's right.
So if there's anything, I mean, you have 30,000 plus furlough members listening to you right now.
Furlough in the building.
If there's anything you want to leave them with, what do you have for them?
I will leave them with basically do what you want to do authentically, and pursue something that's going to make you feel fulfilled. And then when things are hard, they pass. So just keep going at it and just keep grinding, keep creating and stuff like that. So, I mean, my biggest thing is just keep building, keep creating, enjoy life every single day. And like, dude, let's just keep helping each other out. That's where it's all about at the end of the day. Like, that's it.
Absolutely. Love it. My boy GC, where can they find you?
Dude, I mean, right now I'm just on Instagram. You can find my full name is Giancarlo Aguilar, and then Aguilar has 2 R's. So yeah, I'm just pretty much on Instagram. I don't really use my TikTok as much. I'm gonna do my whole content branding thing soon, but I mean, you'll see my lifestyle. Like, you see my little projects and stuff. I always put little clips of my businesses and stuff there. But yeah, check it out. Hit me up. I'll chat with anybody. I'm not like superstar or anything, so just hit me up. I'll chat. If I can give
humble.
You some
so
no, I'm just like, I'm not gonna ignore your DM. Like, I'm just real. And that's it, man. That's it. Let's see what we can do. Let's collab. Let's keep creating, and that's it.
Love it. My boy, brother.
Thank
you for being on.
Thank you, man.
Great.
Thank you.
So much wisdom. It was a fun one for sure.
Of course. Yeah, we could keep going for hours, but bro, we gotta try it. But yeah, man, thank you so much, man. I'm really happy you invited me to the platform, man. I think it's super cool what you're doing. And again, you're the man. And I'm so happy that you've been so consistent in everything you've been doing, and you're always just giving a ton of love and value. So, man, appreciate you.
I appreciate you, my brother. And everyone else, thank you for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe.